welcome to Good Game Spawn Point. I'm Rad. Coming up, we've got a real beauty of an episode today, as we check out the latest virtual take on the beautiful game with FIFA 21. And we visit the beautiful lands of ancient India in Raji, an ancient epic. I'm telling ya, it's gonna be a beautiful show. Oh, pretty.
Once he gets himself settled with the keeper to beat, he hammers it into the back of the net. Smashing goal. And the free kick caught cleanly by the keeper.
Lace up your favourite shooting boots because FIFA is back with another instalment of football fun. This year's FIFA 21 brings with it a tweaked match engine,
And a goal to settle the issue once and for all.
an enhanced Volta Street soccer campaign, and a more detailed career mode, as well as a bunch of smaller updates to make it feel that little bit better than FIFA 20. Or at least that is true for the PlayStation, Xbox and PC versions of the game. If you're playing the Switch version, however, you should be warned that nothing in this review is relevant to your version of FIFA 21. That's because Switch owners have been saddled with a Legacy Edition, which is basically just last year's game again with squad updates. So buyer beware. For the rest of us though, FIFA 21 is improved, but we still need to ask ourselves, is it enough to warrant buying it all over again? Look at it this way. If you're a massive football fan and haven't played a FIFA game before, or it's been at least a few years since you did, then FIFA 21 is guaranteed to bring a smile to your face. This is a silky smooth simulation of the world game, from the famous faces to the technical accuracy of how football pings about the pitch. It's got all the bells and whistles of a world-class TV broadcast, and you get to control all the drama yourself.
You want a pressure cooker? This is it. He must score. Oh, he saved it! It's all over now!
Unlike the last few FIFA games, FIFA 21 does not include a continuation of Alex Hunter's story-driven journey. And I was kind of disappointed because I thought it was a really great and engaging addition to the game. Instead, it's Volta mode that's been buffed up with a few cutscenes and characters, in the hope of getting more players on board with this smaller street soccer sideshow to FIFA's main game. Here, you're doing your best to score on a court-sized pitch, where tricky feet are essential. Volta isn't a really fleshed out story though, and ultimately this mode feels more like arcadey minigames rather than the deeply satisfying gameplay of proper 11-a-side football. And when it comes to the big leagues, this is where FIFA 21 properly shines. Kickoff mode is stacked with options, so you can dive right down into playing exactly how you want. Oh, I mean, don't dive, that's not good sportsmanship, but you know what I mean. Gameplay is tight and responsive, and the AI has been adjusted so it feels like there are even more opportunities to score than ever before.
Oh, and he puts away the second chance.
FIFA pros might want to bump the difficulty up a notch this year. Now, if you prefer to direct from the sidelines, career mode in FIFA 21 has stacks to offer. Here, you can wheel and deal your way to victory as the manager in charge of a whole squad and the business side of things. A new addition to this mode is a top-down sim match for keeping an eye on the stats as much as the action. And it still lets you take full control of the players whenever you feel like intervening.
He'll try his luck here. The free kick.
This is a nice middle ground between playing matches in full and simming it straight to the final score. Career mode also now has weekly training routines if you really want to grind up your player stats. But to be honest, these get pretty repetitive, and I think you're better off automating them so you can just get on with the season. One of the game's most popular modes, FIFA Ultimate Team, is back again once more, and there's not a lot new here. It's the same custom squad mode, complete with the usual randomised player packs to purchase, and it's a big time sink. Personally, I found Ultimate Team just a little too baffling to get the hang of. It's just not geared towards newcomers, and the menus aren't exactly intuitive to use. FIFA 21 seems content to just give experienced players more of the same, but I don't personally see the appeal of feeling like you need to invest real money to unlock players if you want to be competitive. Overall, FIFA 21 is a great football game though, and I think it really comes down to whether or not you've already played FIFA 20 to decide if this is for you. If you do have last year's game, then really there's nothing radically new here to make the investment worthwhile. It's very familiar and very safe.
At the double, they just can't subdue him. Well, here's the replay, and as we see, it's a class ball through to split the defence. And when he gets through to the keeper, he just smashes it past him and gives him no chance to think.
You might want to wait until a bigger, better FIFA emerges next year on next-gen consoles. But if this is your first time playing, then you're in for a treat because this is still one of the best football packages on the planet. So I'm giving FIFA 21 3.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I wonder what gaming news will rustle up this week. I've been developing an algorithm to ensure the best gaming news is rustled up for the smallings. Optimal rustling indeed. Oh, hello, and welcome to The Scoop, where we bring you news from the gaming world. First up, the 2020 Australian Game Developer Awards were live-streamed recently. Multiplayer party games were the big winners this year, with Couch Moving Couch Co-op, Moving Out, taking the title of Game of the Year. While the Fruit Physics Fun of Boomerang Foo scored Best Gameplay. Crossy Road Castle nabbed Best Mobile Game, and Best AR/VR Game went to Shooty Skies Overdrive. Pew, 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 pew. Such a celebration of our local game dev talent. And moving right along now to news that Season 2 of Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout has arrived. While player levels will reset, the major medieval-themed update includes new stages and obstacles, new costumes and colorways, a show selector function, and a community-suggested costume randomization feature. Now, should I wear the dragon costume or the wizard costume? Decisions. Next up in our news roundup, Nintendo is once again under fire regarding the issue of Joy-Con drift, with a new class action lawsuit launched by a 10-year-old and his mother. They claim Nintendo has not done enough to combat problems with the Joy-Con's analog stick, with some players continuing to experience over-responsive movement. You may remember Nintendo apologized for Joy-Con drift earlier this year, but we'll have to wait and watch for the outcome of these legal challenges to see if further action will result. On to some other news now, and while Minecraft, the game, has exceeded 131 million monthly players, Minecraft, the movie, has once again been delayed, this time indefinitely. Since the project was first announced back in 2014, there have been all sorts of hoopla and hullabaloo with writers and directors leaving and being replaced and such. After all that, the live-action film was eventually slated for a March 2022 release date. But COVID-19's impact on the film production industry means that it is now unclear when it might ever be released. It's time now for the Extra Scoop! This week, the very crafty Bill and Britt from a channel known as Punished Props Academy have taken to their IRL crafting tables to create some life-sized Animal Crossing tools. They use some pretty heavy-duty tools to make these foam-based creations, so it's not quite a craft-a-noon activity recommended for spawnlings to attempt by themselves, but an impressive DIY feat nonetheless.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah! Look at our adorable Animal Crossing props.
All right, that's all we have for the scoop this week, but I think you'll agree that my gaming news rustling algorithm worked a treat. My only suggestion is that it should rustle up at least 100 to 150% more robot-related news. I'll get to work.
It's time to wield the powers of the gods and save humanity in Raji, an ancient epic. What is this place?
Hear your pulse, the beating of a war drum.
a tiny team of 7, this is an action-adventure game about a young circus performer named Raji. When her brother is abducted by demons, she has no choice but to try and rescue him. This takes her on a journey of self-discovery, unveiling strength she didn't know she had.
She is clever, this girl. She will find a way.
I really liked that she's a circus performer. It made all of her climbing and acrobatic skills make sense. And it's an inspiring story of compassion and perseverance that's told through beautiful shadow puppet style cutscenes. These hark back to the ancient tradition of shadow play, which has a long history in many countries, including India, where the game was made. In fact, this cultural influence can be seen throughout the game. The story is heavily inspired by Indian mythologies, while the architecture and environments capture the medieval style of Rajasthan. It results in a stunning game that truly does feel like an ancient epic, with thousands of years of human history enriching the world.
You must admit, she shows promise.
I don't think I've seen an Indian story and culture in a game before, and it's an absolute delight to experience. I love how the mythology is woven through. Just enough is explained that you can follow along, but you get the strong sense that there's so much more to the characters and stories you're being told.
How did it come to be here?
You're just scratching the surface, and this sense of depth carries on through to the gameplay, which is surprisingly complex. There's a decent amount of sophisticated platforming, where you'll need to leap up platforms and run across walls. But I did find the movement and controls a little bit clunky, which made things a bit tedious for me. It didn't feel as fluid as it needed to be, and I spent a lot of time falling. In the same spot, over and over. The combat is extremely ambitious, interesting, and fleshed out, but unfortunately it suffers from that same clunky movement. There are combos you can string together and awesome finishing moves which look impressive. With different weapons you can also mix up your strategy to suit the fight. Unfortunately though, I found most of these combos were pretty difficult to properly use. There are wonderful little tutorials that teach you a move before giving you the opportunity to test them against real enemies. But even here, I found it hard to nail them, especially the ones that involved running up poles. You need to get the angle just right, and it's all too easy to get staggered by an enemy and just break your flow. I really missed that fluid motion to just carry me through the fights and let the game shine. It felt like it was falling just short of its full potential, and what great potential it has.
I will squash you.
But the clunkiness meant that battles could get a little tedious, or I'd just end up standing back and trying to ping enemies with my bow. Having said that, the attack effects when you do manage a combo move and the cool enemy design kept pulling me through. While being challenging, the fights aren't difficult enough to get fully frustrating, and even if they aren't thrilling in gameplay all the time, I was always enjoying a feast for the eyes. You can also upgrade skills and do some super moves, all which adds a little extra pizzazz and sense of progress. Again, this game is made by only 7 people. It is wildly impressive just how much they've managed to pack in and how stylishly they've done so. For example, I love the way information is shown on screen. There's no big UI getting in the way of the breathtaking environments, just unobtrusive and stylish health bars and indicators. You're also led through the world in a really clear yet subtle manner, with fireflies dancing in the direction you're meant to go. It's thoughtful design, although there were a few odd times where I completely couldn't find the way to go. Although maybe that's because I was so used to being shown so clearly that I kind of just stopped looking so hard. Anyway, Raji is a triumph. It reminds me of lots of different iconic games, like Prince of Persia, but still with its own unique spin. To me, it's the kind of game I would have played and loved when I was young, and forever held as a great gaming memory. You can tell when a game is made with heart as well as skill, and it leaves a lasting impression. I did struggle a bit with the clunky controls, but the game hooked me enough to see it through. I'm giving Raji an ancient epic 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Okay, time for another round of Ask SP. I wonder why they call it round and not square. Oh, probably because of those edges. They're a little bit dangerous and pointy. You're not here for my questions about shapes. You're here for your questions about video games. So let's kick things off with a video from someone who calls themselves Stupid Monkey. Their words, not mine.
Hi GGSP, Stupid Monkey here. I wanted to know how to train foxes in Minecraft. Please answer. I don't want to have to turn you into Minecraft noob.
Thanks, Stupid Monkey. I don't want to be turned into a Minecraft noob, so this exchange should work out pretty well. Now, if I heard you correctly, you want to know how to train foxes. I'm not sure about training them, but with a bit of effort, you can tame them. Sort of. Their behavior is a little different to that of some other tamed animals in Minecraft. Now, foxes are very quick, so if you want to try and tame one, you're gonna have to be sneaky. That means you must be in crouch or sneak mode, so press shift on PC or press the right stick in on a controller whenever you are around them. I recommend making sure sneak is set to toggle so you don't need to hold it down the whole time. Also, make sure you have some sweet berries on hand. Once you've located two foxes close to each other, you may want to build a wall around them to make sure they don't run away. Remember to remain in sneak mode even while building to stop the foxes from running off. Once they're safely enclosed, just feed some sweet berries to the two foxes. Then you should see love hearts followed by a baby fox. Aww. This baby fox will be loyal to you, so essentially it will be tamed. But it won't follow you around like other tamed animals do, and it will try to follow other fully grown foxes whenever they're nearby. So if you want to keep it around, I recommend naming the baby fox using a name tag and popping it on a lead so you can lead it around. Once it's named, even if it's off lead at any point, you'll know it to be the one you've already tamed and named. Now, if you're having trouble finding two foxes close to each other, you can also use a boat. That's right, a boat to transport them to the same area. Just sneak up to a sleeping fox and place a boat right next to one side of it. Then when you toggle out of sneak mode, the fox should retreat right into the boat. Fox in a boat! You may also need to build some walls to make sure it doesn't run away in the other direction. It's a bit of trial and error. Once it's in the boat though, you can then transport it elsewhere, say to an enclosure you prepared earlier, perhaps. They say let sleeping dogs lie, but they don't say anything about foxes or boats, do they? I suppose it's fine, in Minecraft at least. But moving on now to another video question, and this one is from Oscar and Elise.
Hi GGSP! We have some questions for you. First question is, how many Mario games are there?
And second is, do you think they should add an end update in Minecraft? And third, what do you think the next Minecraft update's going to be about? Bye!
Thanks, Oscar and Elise. That first question sounds like it's going to involve a lot of counting, and I think I know the bot for the job.
Hello, this is Darren.
Hey Darren, just a quick question. Do you know how many Mario games there are?
Well, that all depends on what you'd consider to be a Mario game. For example, do we only count the Super Mario series of games where Mario is the central playable character? Like Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario 64, and the original Super Mario Bros. Platformers. If you go by Nintendo's recent Mario anniversary celebrations, they chose to feature 22 games from the main Super Mario series. But what about games that feature Mario in any capacity, such as part of a roster in Mario Kart or in the Super Smash Bros. Series? Brief appearances, like when Mario was the referee in Punch-Out! And does one include games in which Mario appeared, but was known as Jumpman, like the original Donkey Kong arcade game? And what about ports and remakes? Should those be counted as one game or multiple? There is so much to factor into any calculation, so that's as much as I'm willing to say without more time and more specific data parameters. Oh, and a team of research support bots. And a catering budget.
Well, thanks for being so thorough, I guess.
I always am. Bye!
Bye, Darren. Right, now as for whether there should be an end update for Minecraft, well, sure, why not? There are so many possibilities for Minecraft updates, and they clearly have a highly creative and skilled development team, so I wouldn't rule anything out. But if you want to know what I think the next update will be, well, why speculate? We heard recently that caves and cliffs will be the theme of the next major update. So we can look forward to different cave environments, crystals and geodes, a creepy new mob called the Warden, mountain goats, and a bunch of other things. Moving on now to another video, and this one comes to us from Afraz.
Hi GGSP, my name is Afraz and I have 2 questions for you. 1. Have you ever reviewed Plants vs. Zombies 2? 2. Will there be another apocalypse? Bye!
Thanks, Afraz. In answer to your first question, well, yes, Bajo and Hex reviewed Plants vs. Zombies 2 back when it was first released. You can find it if you delve into our online archives. I'll also add that it's definitely one of my favourite mobile games. Such clever writing and tight tower defense. And we're set to see Plants vs. Zombies 3 sometime soon, so keep an eye out for that. Now, will there be another apocalypse? Well, for the sake of our gaming libraries, I sure hope not. But who's to say if or when we may be called upon to defend the gaming universe again in the future, or what form that may take. We'll just have to try and keep Darren's supervillain tendencies to regular, containable levels as a precaution. And on that note, it appears we've reached the end of this round of Ask SP. If you have a question for us, go here to send it in, and if it's a video we use on the show, you'll score yourself some GGSP loot. So it's the end of a round, but round things don't end. So how does that work? Shapes. So mysterious.
Well, that's it for today, but make sure to check out the ABC Me app for your extra snack-sized slice of GGSP. This week, Will checks out the stylishly speedy sliding in Art of Rally. And make sure to come back next week because we'll be busting out the jack-o'-lanterns, dusting off the costumes, and celebrating all things spooky. We'll be running away from a creepy neighbour in Hello Neighbour 2, and diving into the remaster of one of Nintendo's scariest games ever, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Wait, Pikmin aren't scary, they're adorable. Oh, what's the, oh, there's spiders in the game? Yeah, no way, no, gem out.
Right out.
Will out.